Welcome to today's webinar, 5 Do's and Don'ts of Social Media Marketing. My name is Monica Sims, and I will be presenting today with Lucy Welton. I am the Manager of Social Media Engagement here at iContact, and Lucy is our Social Media Marketing Coordinator. My Twitter handle is @PhotoSims, and Lucy Welton's Twitter handle is @LucyWelton. Also to note, the hashtag for this webinar is #ICWebinar. Please use it if you're tweeting about this presentation. Please make sure to follow us on Twitter @iContact and like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/iContact. And you'll be notified of other webinars and any other special promotions and announcements. So what we're going to cover today, this webinar is really great if you're just getting started in social media marketing, or if you've been active in social channels, it's just a really great refresher course. Some of the things we'll cover today are social media challenges and the opportunity that currently exists in social media. And we're also going to encourage you to listen, learn, and then engage in social channels, and we'll explain a little bit more about each of those things. And finally, Lucy is going to cover five do's and don'ts of social media. It's not an exhaustive list, but will help you get started. So the first thing that we are going to cover are challenges. SMBs told us that they don't have time or resources and don't know where to begin with all the information that's out there about social media. And we just want them to know that we're actually listening and we're here to help. If you attended our product demo of our new social tools, and that covers a lot of these things that we heard from small businesses. They don't have a time to do social media. They don't know how to determine the value of social media, and they really don't know that much about it. So we're trying to make it a lot easier for our customers to do social media via these new tools that we have launched in our application. There's a lot of opportunity in social media for small businesses. On Facebook, there are 80 million people, and that's 4 times the population of Brazil. There's a huge audience that you as a small business can tap into, and then your message will be shared via word of mouth from your followers and your fans. In terms of Twitter, this icon that I have here, this graphic representation I have here, is actually a little out of date. The stats that are on there on tweets per day is actually from January of this year. There are actually 250 million conversations happening every day on Twitter, and that's an enormous amount of content being shared. So being part of that conversation is a great opportunity for you as a small business to spread the word about your product. So the first thing we like to talk to people about is really listening. What are your customers saying? Are they talking about you online? Which channels are they using to talk about you? Identify those channels and really focus your efforts on those areas. What's being said about you? Are there compliments? Are people complaining? Are your customers looking for thought leadership? Are they looking for customer support? Listen to what your customers are saying, and you're going to figure out what they really want. Your customers are already on social media channels, and they're already talking about you and your competitors. They're saying a lot of good stuff, but they also could be saying some bad things. If someone's saying something negative and you aren't on social media, you can't set the record straight. So it's still going to be out there, but when you're on social media, you can actually dispel any myths that people are saying. In these examples, one person is complimenting the Home Depot, and the other 2 are offering suggestions to Crate & Barrel, CB2, and Starbucks. If I'm a local Starbucks and I see this tweet and I know we're phasing out the outlets in our store, I'm going to find a creative way to announce that to my customers in store so that they really don't get frustrated with the fact that we're doing this. We also want you to listen to what's being said about your competitors. Is there an opportunity where you can step up and provide something your competitors not? In the top example, if I'm a large chain or a local coffee shop, I'm going to contact Sustainable Harvest and figure out how I can help and what my business can do. In the second example, if I'm a local hardware store or large chain, I'm going to find out stores that are closing nearby and target those workers who got laid off and really market the jobs that we need filled. So it's not just finding information about your competitors or about your industry, but how you take that information and make it work for you and your business. Next, we encourage our customers to really learn about what your audience wants. How are they interacting with you? How are they interacting with your competitors on social channels? Do they have, again, this is, are they having support questions? Are they looking for more information about your industry? Also, where is your company lacking? Is there something your competitors offer that you don't? Social media doesn't exist in a vacuum. You need to respond to the good and respond to the bad, and you need to do it quickly. People aren't going to wait around for an answer. In the top example here, a Lands' End customer wants to know when the next sale is. The company's social media team acknowledges that they don't get advance notice of when the sales will be, but does give them an option on the best way to find out about the sales. In the bottom example, LL Bean company acknowledges that they and their competitors make items in other countries. They then offer a solution by telling them what items are made in the U.S. Theoretically, one of their competitors, maybe Lands' End, for example, could post something on the LL Bean wall about the items they make in the U.S. also. And this could also be an awesome idea for an awareness campaign for LL Bean centered around what items they do make in the U.S. Also under the learning umbrella, we encourage our small businesses to ask questions and use the polling features. In this Walgreens example, they have two great things they're doing. They'll be offering special offers to Facebook fans only, and they're promoting it on their Facebook page. And secondly, they want to update their Facebook presence, so they're asking their customers what website features they would also like to see on Facebook. In the J. Crew example on the left, they're asking their customers about specific products and which style they like the best about that specific product. At a certain point, they could find the prevalent answer to this question and offer Facebook users a discount for the style that was the most liked. Lucy's now going to walk us through the process of creating a poll on Facebook.
Right above the status bar, you'll see the option to click on questions. And right there, we are going to ask, have you started using iContact social media marketing tools? So now you'll see the option to add poll options, and so you'll click on that. We're going to say yes, no, and then another option we're going to ask to, if no, please leave a comment telling us why. And one important thing to note is that you want to unclick allow anyone to add options. If you don't do this, you're more susceptible to getting spammers leaving options. So then you click ask question and immediately post to your Facebook wall. Ta-da!
Great, thank you, Lucy. The final thing that I will cover today is engage. It's really important in social media to respond in a timely manner. There is a sense of urgency with social media, and remember that your customers are going to want an answer faster than if they sent you an email, if they're engaging with you on social media channels. Now I'm going to turn this over to Lucy to discuss 5 do's and don'ts of social media.
Tip number 1 is to remember to be human and don't be automated. People really appreciate that and respond best when they realize that you're a real life person and not just a computer spitting out answers. It's really important to figure out what kind of personality that you want to show through your social media efforts and what kind of voice will you have. Do you want to be playful? Do you want to be serious? Depending on what type of company you are will help to determine how you will respond through your social media channels. In this example from JetBlue, for them to say, "You are welcome for your hat," would be very out of the ordinary for them and very unlike the playful personality that they have developed for their brand. Instead, it's clear that they're able to joke about returning the hat to a customer. I also want to point out that it's important to remember that a personal touch to your brand is best done via Twitter, because there are constantly conversations happening and people get to know you and your brand through your tweets. Tip number 2 is to remember that sharing is caring, and don't forget to share. We all learned this lesson way back in kindergarten, that it's important to share with your friends. Well, you've been gifted this unlimited reach with social media, so take advantage of it. Remember that social media is not about your network, it's about the network. The message starts with you, and then you pass it on to your email subscribers, your Facebook fans, and your Twitter followers. And then they share with their networks, and so on and so on. So your reach is unlimited. Your subscribers can share your content with their friends, which in turn gives you and your brand more exposure. With that said, it's important to retweet the positive comments and share links, share ideas. Post articles that you find interesting and articles that you think that your fans and followers could benefit from. Remember to ask questions and answer questions. Social media is a very smart way to share articles and information to both prospects and your existing customer base, because it shows off just how knowledgeable you are about your industry. And before you know it, you will become a thought leader in that industry. So tip number 3, don't ignore the bad and do apologize. Because we are human, we all make mistakes. But simply recognizing that you have made a mistake and apologizing goes a long way. In this example, Eye Contact Help apologizes, explains why the problem occurred, suggests a solution, and then you move on. Keep in mind, social media, and especially Twitter, open up the company to more criticism and griping. It's also important to note that Twitter is very effective at providing round-the-clock customer service. Tip number 4, don't hard sell and do create value in posts. A few facts. The average fan spends $71 on products that they like. Fans are 28% more likely to continue being loyal users. And the average fan is 41% more likely to recommend a product or service to a friend. Since we want to keep our fans and followers, remember to put thought into your posts and engage and interest your fans. Nobody wants to follow a company that always fills their news feed with sales pitches and products. Talk to your users and ask them questions. See what products of yours they like and which ones they hate. Let them know that you value what they think, and they in turn will value you. Remember that you are a real person and this is just a conversation, so please be polite. If you met someone for the first time, the first things out of your mouth would not be a hard sell. You would probably be asking questions to find out more about them and what they were looking for, and then go from there. In this example from the Home Depot, they're asking questions about how to help their customers. In Whole Foods in Raleigh, they post a picture to get their fans engaged and ask a question, which is a great touch as well. So tip number 5 is don't forget your goals and do remember to measure your results. Although this is the last tip, it should be first and foremost in your mind when you begin your social media efforts. The most important question is, what are my goals? What am I trying to accomplish here? If your goal is to measure ROI, start with the goal of increasing your website visitors. Measure clicks and how many people are liking and sharing your content. If your goal is to have an abundance of conversations, track and measure the time it takes to respond to your tweets and Facebook posts. How many mentions you are getting on Twitter, how many retweets you are receiving on a daily basis. Once you've established concrete and tangible goals, measuring the results will become much easier and even exciting. And those are 5 tips on the do's and don'ts of social media.
Now we're going to be taking questions from the audience.
Okay, we've received a number of questions. Hi everyone, I'm Daniel. I've been answering questions in the background. And if you have any additional questions, you can enter them in the chat window in GoToWebinar. The first question we have comes from Bob. He would like to know, what are a few good ways to build followers and fans?
One really good way to build followers and fans is to run contests and offering a prize for liking us on Facebook. We did this back in May, and we had a 44-day giveaway. And each week we gave away an iPad and I believe a gift card. And we were able to build up our followers on Facebook significantly.
The next question comes from Aaron. Aaron would like to know, what is the best time of day to post to Twitter? What about Facebook?
The best time to post from my experience is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because it is it's right in the beginning of the day on the West Coast. And the East Coast, it's right around 12, so lunchtime when people have time to look around on their computers and they're not totally focused on doing work. And then in London, it is 5 o'clock, so it's the end of the business day.
Okay, Ryan would like to know, how much time do I need to dedicate to social media every day?
It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish with social media. So I would say getting started on, really focus your efforts and set aside a specific amount of time. It could be 15 minutes, it could be an hour. Set aside the time every week and focus your efforts on one channel and really become an expert in that channel and make that your main mode of communicating with people on social channels. And then once you have that under your belt, then expand it and maybe spend a little bit more time on the social channels. One of the great things about our new product is that you can schedule all of your Facebook and Twitter tweets so that you don't have to spend all day in Twitter, you don't have to spend all day in Facebook. You can just get everything scheduled and then check occasionally on what people are saying and make some responses, but it doesn't have to be something you're in all day, 24 hours a day.
Jeff would like to know, how many followers and likes is the right number for my business?
Similar to what we say with our email marketing, there is no magic number. What's going to be perfect for you is going to be too many for another business. So really, it's when your message is being shared and your message is getting out there, not just to your customers, but to their friends and their network, and they're really sharing your message to everyone that they know. That's what the perfect number is, and when it's bringing in more business for you.
Leon would like to know if you could explain hashtags.
A hashtag is mostly used for searching on Twitter. And you can see if you're on Twitter right now, under the trending topics on home, you'll see the most, you'll see things that are hashtagged. And so if you click on any of those, most of the people that post about those subjects are using that hashtag. So they have something very specific to say. And So if someone was looking for an eye contact webinar, they could search IC webinar, and everything that we've been talking about on Twitter while we've been talking during this webinar would show up on their feed. Monica, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so for instance, we are, as iContact, we are this week attending AdTech in New York, and next week we're attending Internet Summit in Raleigh. And so we follow that hashtag and start conversations with people about that that are talking about those specific events. So that's really event-focused hashtags, and we'll have conversations with people. We'll start to follow them because we know that they're going to be there. And then when we are actually at the event, we know, the people that we've gotten in touch with, and then we try to connect with them in person to make that really personal connection, and they get to know us as human beings and we as them as human beings. And so it's not all done on, it's not an online-only relationship. And it really makes you more personal, your brand more personal, and those connections a lot stronger. The other thing people use those hashtags for, Lucy sometimes will use something like that if she sees a conversation on Twitter about eye contact, and she needs to set the record straight because some of the information is incorrect about what other people are sharing, or she wants to add a little bit more information, so she'll use hashtag eavesdropping. So it can be used in kind of a personality way, and saying, we're fun, we're wanted to let you know that we're listening, but we don't want to interrupt if the conversation doesn't warrant it. So they can be used in a lot of different ways. I would say the best way to use them at the beginning is to promote yourself at various events, and then go from there.
Our next question comes from Jenny. And Jenny would like to know, how do I deal with negative comments on Facebook or Twitter?
I would say the most important thing is to acknowledge them and let the disgruntled customer know that you hear what they're saying and that you appreciate their advice, and go from there and see if you can find a solution that works for them and for you. Sometimes people just take to social media to complain, and there's nothing you can really do about it, but I think the most important thing is to acknowledge that you have heard you heard that their complaint, and you're actively working to try and resolve the issue.
Peter asks, how can I measure success in social media marketing?
I would say that really what you need to do is set a goal at the beginning. Really understand what you're trying to do and make sure that you're sticking to that goal and you're not deviating from that plan. So Lucy covered this in one of her slides. If your goal is to increase website visitors, then what you're going to need to do is make sure that you have a link to your website where relevant in your posts, and really look at your Google Analytics and see how that affects your website visitors. Are you increasing visitors as a result of those links? And if not, then how can you do it a little more creatively to encourage people to really attend or to really come to your website? Peter Golly, one of our product owners here at iContact, wrote a great white paper on that, and that is listed in the resources section of this presentation, which we will be sharing with you. And that is under tip 5 measure, social media ROI, a deeper look. That's the blog post, and that links directly to that white paper.
Okay, the next question is from Adrian. Adrian would like to know, is there an easy way to find out if people are talking about your company on Twitter or Facebook?
Lucy, you want to tell them how we find posts about us?
It's pretty easy. Up at the search box at the top of Twitter, I typically type in hashtag iContact @mention eye contact, anything that relates to eye contact, I search for, and then you can see what people are saying. Another good way on Twitter is right underneath the status bar. If you're looking at Twitter, it says there's timeline, eye contact, activity, searches, list. If you just click on the @eye contact button, you can see who is retweeting your tweets, talking about you, mentioning you. And that's also how I find out when people are saying good things about us, and when they're saying if they have complaints that I need to send up to support, or if they have questions. On Facebook, it's a little more difficult to find out if people are talking about you. Typically on Facebook, if people have something to say, they'll post it directly on your wall. And the same feature for mentioning someone on Twitter with the @ symbol, you can do in Facebook and search for people or mention people. Monica's at AdTech, she mentioned before, so I was posting pictures on our Facebook wall earlier this week, and to say that we were at AdTech, I mentioned AdTech and then found AdTech New York, and then it appears on our page, and since we mentioned AdTech, it shows up on their feed as well.
Our next question comes from Tracy. She asks, I have trouble figuring out what to talk about on Facebook or Twitter in marketing a small corporate real estate project management firm. Do you have any suggestions?
I would start by talking about what you do as an organization. Are you writing blog posts? If you're writing blog posts, then make sure you're promoting those. If you are, I don't know everything about your business, so if you're promoting a specific property, tweet about that. Tweet some wonderful things about that property. If it's got, a fabulous kitchen, say, check out the fabulous kitchen at this property. Promote where you're going to be. If you have an open house, make sure that your customers or your followers know where to find you, and how and why this would be the perfect place for them to live, or something to that effect. So get creative. I have been, because I've been at AdTech this week, you probably have been seeing a lot of things from iContact about it, and really you need to be able to say the same thing in 10 different ways when you're promoting being at an event, or being at promoting the same thing all the time. So really, look at the way you're talking about things. Look and see what other people are doing in your industry and how they're promoting. Follow those people, and really take note of what they're doing and what you think you could adopt, or what you think they're not doing so well, and make sure that you don't do that as well. So it's a matter of really listening and learning from what your competitors are doing.
The next question comes from Bonnie, and Bonnie would ask if you could please talk about Facebook and the difference between a personal and a business page. Is it important to do the personal chit-chat, or is it enough just to let people come and look at your business page and respond to them professionally? Should you be professional on your business page, or should you have personal chit-chat, and kind of what's the difference between having a business page versus a personal page?
Yes, it's important to have chit-chat and be friendly on your business page, but you need to remember that it needs to be professional. So some of the things that I personally would post on my own Facebook page as Lucy, completely different than what I would post on iContact's page, because my friends on Facebook are people that I know personally, and I know them very well, and we have the same sense of humor. What I post on the iContact wall are interesting articles, our booths, our pictures at AdTech, and we answer questions and we talk back to the people that post on our wall. It's just, I think it's the difference between being personal or excuse me, professional, and then who I know personally, because I don't know all of the people that post on our Facebook wall.
I think that's exactly right. And one of the things that I would add to that is that you want to show your personality. So some of the things that we post are like this, this picture I'm showing you here of our Halloween costume contest. So you want to show your personality, but at the same time you do need to keep it professional. So there is a fine line, but you know, test some things out, see how things work for you and your audience, and depending on your industry, it might be better to be a little more personal, and it might, but on the other hand, it might be better to not be as personal. So really do a lot of testing and see what's going to get you the best return and really help you meet your goals.
Andrea would like to know what some of the new features are of iContact social media marketing.
So I'll take this one. One of the great things, I've been talking to a lot of prospects and customers this week at AdTech, and some people have even come up to me and said, hey, I know you guys have just launched this, and can you show me a little bit more about it? And so what I've found is really great about our new social tools is it really lets you schedule out everything that you want to say on Twitter and Facebook. So for instance, while I'm at this show, I go in first thing in the morning or at night before I go to bed, and I post and schedule a bunch of tweets that I want to go out through the course of the day. And then people know that I'm at AdTech and know that I'm on the floor and they can come talk to me, but I don't have to worry that, oh, it's 9 o'clock, I need to post something. Oh, the last time I posted something was at 9 o'clock and now it's 2 o'clock and I haven't tweeted anything. People are going to think I fell off the face of the earth. So it gives you the ability to schedule the stuff out and then continue with your day. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't tweet or post to your Facebook wall when you're out having lunch with someone, but it just allows you the freedom to not have to constantly think about it. That's one of the biggest advantages I feel in our social media integration that we've done with this new product.
And I think that actually answers the question that Carolyn just asked, which was, what resources can you offer to developing a social media strategy?
Yep, I would say that's a great place to start. And we also have a couple of white papers written by Peter Golly that you can find on our blog. And one of them is Social Media ROI, a Deeper Look. And the other one is under Tip 1, Be Human, which is a social media marketing white paper that Peter also wrote. Also, make sure that you're following our blog because we are constantly updating that with more information on social media as well as email marketing.
Monica, Tanya would like to know if she can get a copy of these slides.
Yes, we are going to, there are a couple of things we're doing. We'll be emailing them out to all of the attendees, and we will also be posting it on our SlideShare account, which is slideshare.net/iContact. We will be tweeting about that and posting it on our Facebook wall as well. So if you follow us, you'll have that link. And you can always ask either Lucy or I directly via Twitter. Our Twitter handles are here on this question slide about how to get access to these slides.
Andrea would like to know, how do you conduct a Twitter contest? Do you have any tips for her?
Twitter contest, I would say one of the things actually that we're doing here at AdTech is we are giving away a blanket. And so we're encouraging folks who come and talk to us to post something on Twitter or Facebook, and if they mention us, then they get this blanket. So that's a great way to do it, is to say, if you mention us, you get 20% off. And then you can, they'll mention you on Twitter. They need to then get in touch with you, prove to you that they've tweeted about you, or you can find it through the ways that Lucy mentioned earlier and send them a coupon for 20% off at your store or something to that effect. In terms of Facebook, on how to create a Facebook experience, which includes a promotional percentage off. We actually do have a blog post about that, and I believe it is in our resources. No, it's not in these resources, but again, if you tweet to either me or Lucy or iContact, we can send you that link.
Leon wants to know if it's better to direct users to your Facebook page or to your direct account, which I assume he means your website.
Well, there are two different things that are happening there. Your website is not a conversation. Your website is you telling people about your product or service. Facebook is much more of a two-way conversation. So it depends on what you're trying to do. Do you want your customers to have a conversation with you, or do you want to give them just more information about you? So it really, if you're just encouraging, learn more about us, send them to your website. If you say, ask us a question and we'll respond to you, or find out more about this, learn more about this product or service, then promote your Facebook page. The wonderful thing about iContact is that you can also have an email sign up on your Facebook page. So while they're there, encourage them to sign up for your email list, and then you have multiple ways of contacting them.
Okay, so and Leon actually just clarified. He was asking about a personal page on Facebook versus a business page. Gotcha.
So I would say definitely promote your business page more so than your personal page. As Lucy said, your personal page really should be, your close friends and family, people that you have those personal relationships with. Your business page should be where your customers and prospects interact with you.
Okay, and Sue just asked a related question. She said that she originally started her personal professional Facebook page and then created a business page at the same address. But because it's a personal page, she can't do the polls or questions. She has over 100 likes. Is it better for her to create an entirely new page for her business or stick with what she has?
If you do want to do the polling feature, then you should make sure that you're no longer using that personal page, and you try and move everyone over to the professional page if that's the goal of your Facebook account. There are also some tools out there that you could use to potentially, actually no, you can't. You have to have a business page in order to use these other tools to create polls and things like that. So I would say try and move everybody over to your Facebook business page and discontinue using your Facebook professional page.
And a good way to get people to move over to the new page is just to offer a small gift for everyone, or not everyone that moves over there, but or tell your friends about us, and just asking people to share, and share. And hopefully the people that, the 100 likes that you have, they will all just move over there, and explain to them why you're doing that.
We have just a few more questions. Susan would like to know, what about other social media sites, such as LinkedIn?
First of all, LinkedIn I see as much more of a professional network. Much more of, I use LinkedIn as a way to connect with people that I've met in my business dealings. Either I've worked with them, I've met them at a show or an event, and we connect that way. The way I see, if you include LinkedIn to the Twitter and Facebooks of the world, I see Twitter as being extremely fast. You're going to get rapid responses. Your content that you're posting is actually going to get old extremely quickly. Facebook I see it as a little bit slower than that. You don't need to post as often. The responses will happen, but they won't happen within the first 10 minutes. They'll happen within the first 4 to 8 hours. LinkedIn, I would say, is even slower than that. You could post something on LinkedIn, and 2 weeks to a month later, you're continuing to get responses on that question. or on a post or comments on something that you've posted. So after a month of something on Facebook, it's still possible to find that. Probably not going to be that easy to find it. On LinkedIn, it's going to be very easy to find. On Twitter, something that's a month old is gone. You're not going to see it again. So think about it that way in terms of how often should you post. LinkedIn, if you're posting, every day, people are going to, they're going to be overwhelmed. It's going to be too much information. Make sure that the value is there and the content is interesting to keep people engaged and has legs to live for a long time. Facebook, it's going to take a lot less time. So post something on there that is going to be there for the next 2-3 days. For instance, for this webinar, we might have posted this on Tuesday, but on LinkedIn, we posted it 2 weeks ago because we knew that it would take that long for everyone, all of our followers, to see it. And then on Twitter, we're still tweeting about this, an hour before the webinar to encourage signups because that's how fast people get their information from there.
Okay, I think we have one more question. That comes from Kay, and she'd like you to talk a little bit more about how to encourage Facebook fans to post on your wall or just participate in general.
I would say the best way to encourage them to contribute, and Lucy, please add on to this, but we found that posting open-ended questions is a really great way to encourage people to start a conversation with us. Some other things that we do are post blog posts and then say, what do you think? So again, that's that open-ended question. Lucy, what else have you found works in terms of encouraging engagement on Facebook?
Posting pictures is huge. It really can show your personality, and it can show that you're a real person, that we work in this really fun office environment. We have fun Halloween competitions. We do really cool things when we give back to the community. So when we have community service projects, we ask that our employees send us pictures so that we can tweet them, create a Facebook album. I think asking questions and posting pictures and interesting content are some of the best ways to get people involved on your Facebook page.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you, everyone, for all the questions you asked. There's some really great ones there.
Great. So again, remember you can follow me at PhotoSims or Lucy at Lucy Welton. Also make sure you're following iContact. Our Twitter handle is @iContact, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/iContact. We do have a bunch of resources that we will share with you in terms of what we've discussed here today. And let us know if you have any other questions. We are definitely here to help and want you as our customers to succeed in everything you do in online marketing. Thank you.
Thank you.